Welcome everyone. We are your hosts Yasha and Anmol. And this is the Counting Thoughts podcast. You come to this podcast to count all your thoughts irrespective of them being serious and random and big and small and all sort of thoughts. So thoughts that you might have thought about or you might think after listening or watching the podcast. All this to bring change one thought at a time.
Amen. It's been light around here, so we decided to make things heavy with this episode. So apparently you guys are very, very, very similar, like Anmol, because you like episodes that include some sort of homework, and this is one of that episodes that does include homework. So I hope you're excited about this, but I don't know. I'm sort of anxious, but
I am anxious, but I am excited as per usual because I've done my research. That is why, which makes me very happy.
It's an 8-page long research, just so you know. But
I did good research. Yasha should be. She will be proud of me towards the end. I know that.
We'll see.
Yeah. So today's episode, we will discuss about
attachment styles, and we will try to figure out what category we belong to. Pehle we thought that we will take the quiz. There is a quiz, guys. So we thought we'll take the quiz and then we'll do the episode and tell you, oh, this is my attachment style and this is my attachment style. But then we thought we'll get biased, so we thought we'll not do the quiz. We will tell you that there is a quiz. You can take it later on, and you can also guess as you go along in the episode which attachment style category do you belong to. So
because humans are wired in different ways and we have different attachments, and we thought that we, instead of first taking the test, because we don't want it to bleed into our actual research, we thought first we'll do the research and do the our anxious selves, my anxious self and her nervousness. We thought that okay, let's do this first and then we'll figure out what our attachment style is, or probably we will figure it out as we
go along. Yeah. So Abhi will play a guessing game as we discuss these attachment styles and see which one each of us belongs to, and see kitna we know each other and we know ourselves.
Yes. But first, as per usual, my Google research has to be there for precision of all the facts. It has to be there.
Yes.
Right. So yeah. So, but before we have to, Google the attachment style and what this means, and I've already done it because reflexing myself.
Anmol being alone.
Yeah. So the attachment theory is probably one of the most studied, and when it comes to parenting styles and all of those things, and that's not surprising. Although attachment in the early years centers on the relationship of it centers the relationship of a child and their caregiver, which is usually mothers. And it also influences future relationships, including romantic ones. Alright, so let's take a closer look at how you knowingly and unknowingly shape your child and how they react to certain situations and how it comes down to attachment
I think
styles.
I wanted to stop here because I feel the necessity of saying that neither of us has a child, and we're not saying that you're doing a good job or you're doing or you're doing a bad job at raising your child, because hats off to people, because as a second-hand experience I'm speaking, hats off to people who are raising their own kids. It's a tedious task.
Oh, it is. It is.
So whatever you're doing, I think wing it along as you go, but I think you are the best judge of what your child needs. It's just that this is a theory, and we decided to discuss this theory mainly because it is useful to figure out romantic relationships.
How you form relationships further and the reasons as to.
I think after your parents, सबसे ज़्यादा expectations and sort of reliance is required in a romantic relationship, because you're most vulnerable after your family, you're most vulnerable around
your partner,
romantic partner, when you're serious, that is. So
yeah, given that you
want to be vulnerable around
in a romantic relationship.
So having said that, continue.
Yeah, so back to my Google research. Okay, so going on, as kids we form bonds. Our early experiences with intimate relationships impact how we approach attachment in the future. It starts with our caregivers, which are usually our parents, and these core beliefs are shaped further by the other experiences with friends, teachers, and the first romantic relationships like you said. Okay, so these experiences can place us anywhere on a wide spectrum of how we approach intimacy. Initially, these styles were divided into 3 categories, namely avoidant, anxious, and secure. Later on, as the research kept on happening, there were 4 types, and these are anxious insecure attachment, avoidant insecure attachment, disorganized insecure attachment, and a secure attachment.
Okay.
And there's a chart which I cannot show it to you, but yeah.
For people watching the YouTube thing, I think we'll try to add the photo.
We will try that if our editor agrees.
Also, the thing is, since you said that these attachment styles are formed when we are still kids, I believe, like looking at the chart, you are going to have a certain outlook of how things should be or how things are based on how you were raised. But then there are a lot of people who have not been raised well, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right? But then they turn out extremely good. But then there are people who have extremely supportive, loving, and care.
A very secure environment.
But they grow up to be very
pain in the ass.
people, to say the least. So where do you think the mismatch is? Is it about what you inherit, or is it about the nurturing that you got? How do you put it?
See, there are some things that you're born with or you're raised with, and there are some things that, let's say, that are added to your behavior and your psyche with respect to the environment that you are in or while you're growing.
A question on top of my question without answering, and you don't answer questions with questions. So basically, what you're trying to say is.
What I'm trying to say is I'm trying to add more depth to the situation, because I feel it's a mix of both. Because when you grow up, this is how I perceive this. When you grow up, there are things that you like, there are things that you don't like. Then while you're growing up, you are trying to find a balance between whatever happened, the likes and dislikes, and also your current emotional and practical sides. So I think you're constantly changing and evolving and trying to figure out as to you want to keep the likes and dislikes. Keep the likes.
So this is happening in an ideal situation.
Yeah, this is an ideal situation.
But then the theory of the attachment theory, the theory says that you were nurtured a certain way, and the way you saw it, you thought that became your normal. Just say, for example, for the lack of a better example that is coming to my head, you go to college, and first year of your college you get bullied. Not bullied, like ragging hota hai. Right? So you are asked to give introductions and whatever ragging happens. Then next year you become the senior, right? So there are 2 kind of people. उधर भी जैसे जिनके बहुत ragging हो, they're like कि this happened with me, I will do this with everybody. मेरे साथ हुआ, मैं सबके साथ करूँगी, right? And then there are the second kind of people who are, because this happened with me, I do not like it, I will not let it happen to anybody else, right? Where both the ideologies aren't wrong, so to speak, but these are actual ideologies that are formed in society also. Suppose there are women who were oppressed.
Yeah.
Right? They think that this is the norm, right? So they treat the future generation of women that come into their families accordingly, right? And there are women who said that I was oppressed and I will make sure that no other woman is oppressed as I was, right?
Yeah.
So where does this shift come from? Is my question, and it is irrelevant, I realized.
No, it's not irrelevant because see, everyone has their own attachment style, which we will be discussing further. So to answer this question, I will answer this question towards the end. But before that, I think we and our listeners need to know exactly what these attachment styles are.
Anxious, insecure attachment style is the next attachment style, the first attachment style that we will discuss. This attachment style happens when parents respond to their child's needs irregularly. Care and protection are sometimes there and sometimes not. Therefore, the child fails to develop any feelings of security from the caregiver. And since the child is not sure if the parent will be there, they feel threatened and they don't easily move away from the parent to explore the world, I think, right? The child becomes more demanding and even clingy, and they keep hoping that if they act in an exaggerated manner, the parent will react to them.
And in an anxious, insecure attachment, the lack of predictability means that the child eventually becomes needy, angry, and distrustful.
मुझे ऐसा लगता है जब like if this child grows up with the same tendencies, तो ऐसा हो जाएगा they will get attached to their partner's potential. मतलब
it's highly likely.
मतलब they will ask their partner to, मतलब उनको ऐसा लगेगा that they cannot rely on their partner, या they मतलब the relationship will become everything for them, and they will expect their partner to rescue them or to be there for them. It'll be
fill in all the shoes that the incomplete pictures that needs to be filled in. They have the expectation.
और इसमें ऐसा हो जाता है कि partner you will get, if you have this style, if I have this style, we will get clingy towards the partner,
which can also turn into like it. Probably then you get really insecure and you will be very needy, like they said, and you might want to cling on to the relationship and the hopes that you have for the relationship, for the partner to stay, and you wouldn't let them grow and go.
So this would, I think, turn into a very limiting relationship, if not anything else,
because you're trying to hang on to an expectation of a few past self and which will eventually end up in breaking off the relationship because you're not yet you're mentally not figure
I
out
think that possessiveness that comes in a relationship towards their partner कि जो करना है मेरे साथ ही करो,
क्योंकि आप mentally you are still अभी उसी से आप heal नहीं कर रहे हो. तो अगर आप new relationship में stepping in without healing from whatever happened or whatever is the insecurity that you have, so it will break off your future relationships most likely. What we are trying as much as like we're trying to stick to the fact because this is a very sensitive topic, but then again of course we're going to put in our 2 cents.
I think the example that Anmol has research is that say suppose in a relationship the person is anxious that the person would leave them. So if their partner starts socializing with friends, they might think to themselves that this person doesn't really love me and they're going to leave me, and I was right not to trust them, and this will all just come from their partner spending time with their friends. Or kuch nahi kiya, nothing has happened. It's just that they have started to spend time with their friends as well, more than usual, yeah, maybe aisa. So mostly
you also end up like there are people who end up playing mind games, which is very wrong. I would say it's wrong because then you're not forming an actual relationship.
So basically what will happen is you will act out, you will be jealous and you will act out of jealousy, and then you will try to get the upper hand because you will feel powerless and you will try to play mind games. I think this is the
because you're anxious and insecure. That is why this attachment style is anxious and insecure. As long as you're not able to acknowledge and fix it, probably it's going to stay.
And I think this rarely will end up in happiness because such people will end up attracting people with the avoidant attachment style, which is also the next attachment style that we will discuss.
Yes. So with respect to the avoidant attachment style, sometimes a parent has trouble accepting and responding sensitively to their child's needs. Instead of comforting the child, the parent either minimizes their feelings, the child's feelings, or they reject their demands and they don't necessarily help them in difficult tasks. And this actually leads to avoidant behavior and insecure attachment behavior. In fact, such parents may expect the child to help their own needs. Khud ka khud dekho, like system. So the child learns that it's best to, because their parents would have their own attachment style problems. Aisa nahi I'm blaming them. They have their own things to figure out. So when this happens to another child, because it's bleeding into their relationship, the child learns that it's best to avoid bringing the parent into the picture because the parent does not respond in a helpful manner or how they want their availability to be. And in avoidant insecure attachment style, the child learns that their best bet is to shut down their feelings and become self-reliant.
I think these children would have a defense mechanism where they will either, when they grow up, that is, they will have a defense mechanism. They will either not let people in, matlab, apan single बढ़िया, या they will have a very difficult time trusting anybody new, or even if they do trust somebody new, they will keep them at a distance. And without realizing, these people may actually end up sabotaging their own relationships out of nowhere, because subconsciously they're scared that their partner will leave them. So they try to, they think that it is better that they leave their partner before their partner ends up leaving them. So they will have this sort of
avoidant behavior,
defense mechanism that I will always have an upper hand as long as I am the one leaving. I will decide what happens to the relationship in the relationship. So I think that is also their coping mechanism with the relationship.
Probably because they're trying to defend their own emotions, and it is also a habit that they might have been, constantly practicing because of whatever situations.
But the irony is that by doing this, they stay in the cycle of repeating this. जो बचपन में हुआ
the cycle will come back to
it'll keep repeating itself, and the irony in the situation is that they will keep doing ultimately what they are avoiding, and they'll keep getting hurt because you are also involved in that relationship. Generally the research says that the avoidant people find faults in anyone rather than letting a relationship grow naturally. An avoidant person tends to dwell on areas that they are unsatisfied with. They zero in on minor flaws and imagine how they were happier being single, or they would be happier finding someone else, or how it would be better if their partner did the things that they asked their partners to do. Aisa I feel. So in a relationship, have you seen people say ki you ask what are you unhappy about in the relationship? There are 10 things that you can point out. Even if you are in a relationship with me, you would point out 10 things. I don't like this, I don't like
because
this.
you have certain expectations in your mind.
है ना? दूसरा ऐसा होता है that there are things that you don't like which are my habits, and there are things that you don't like which are part of my character.
Yeah.
Habits is changeable. Like you are an unorganized person, that is not your character. That is your habit. You are just lazy. You will, there are people
I am, but yeah.
So say suppose you have this habit of जैसे for instance, I don't like wiping floors.
Yeah.
नहाने के बाद, after I take a shower, the one thing that I hate a lot, if not the most in the world, is you take a shower, you are all clean and everything is nice, you smell nice, you feel fresh, you feel hygienic, and then you have to wipe everything. And subconsciously, I don't know kab se, but then I've always had this thought that everything is like the dirt
is there, and you're trying to now cleaning it again.
You are cleaning it up, and it has negated the whole purpose of you taking a shower.
What I do is, in this particular scenario, when I'm done with the shower, I wipe the entire floor and then I throw extra water on the floor to clean the floor.
So this is not just me.
This is not just you, but I also think this is the problem in this particular scenario is this is something that probably I'm avoidant about is when I'm in a situation or in a moment with anyone, be it going on a coffee with a friend, be it sitting down and watching a TV show with my family member, be it anything. When I am in the moment with them, I want to do complete justice to the moment and avoid everything. Because I feel like time is very precious, and if I am investing my time with so and so person or in so and so activity, even if I'm taking a shower, like the example, I take hours and everyone is like, what the hell are you doing for hours in a shower? And I'm like, I have long.
2 very boring minutes later.
So basically, the avoidant one in the relationship is constantly, they're after them, if I would say. Like, the other person has to be after them and make constant efforts for the person who's avoiding them. Because if their partner is distressed and they threaten them to leave, they would actually not respond to it in a way, like in an effort way. They would actually not care because they have had avoidance lifestyle and attitude.
So for instance, if I say I break up with you, you will say go to hell, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care, because you have inculcated the avoidant behavior. That
So-
you're avoiding altogether situation.
Each situation, I think these two people are the two attachment styles that we discussed are perfect for each other, because one will keep avoiding, the other one will keep chasing, and like sort of they will act like magnets and keep attracting each other. This is going to be a very familiar cycle for them, because the avoidant people will get to avoid and the anxious people will get to chase. But I feel this is going to be a very toxic cycle, very familiar, but a very toxic cycle for
Both
the parties. But going further, the third attachment style is the disorganized insecure attachment.
In this case, parents show atypical behavior. They reject, ridicule, and frighten their child. Parents who display these behaviors often have a past that includes unresolved trauma. That is why Yasha says,
That is why I say that heal from your own trauma, so that your child does not have to heal from your trauma. So grow.
yeah. So tragically, when the child approaches the parent, they feel fear and increased anxiety instead of care and protection. And the other three attachment styles are sometimes referred to as organized, but this particular one is referred to as disorganized because the child learns how they have to behave and organize their strategy accordingly.
But इसमें they don't know how to do it, because ना ऐसे कर सकते हैं ना वैसे करते हैं. मतलब this is that situation, थाली का बैंगन, like बिन पेंदे का लोटा, दोनों हाथ में लड्डू type situation.
Like you are not here or there.
हाँ, so there is no, I mean you are left hanging. You are more like a pendulum that is hanging and does not have like a place to go. Yeah.
So it's like a mix of these two behaviors. Eventually, the child develops behaviors that help them feel somewhat safe. For example, the child may become aggressive towards their parents because they're disorganized. They refuse care
And
from
all
their
children
parents.
aggressive towards their parents.
So the intensity is different, because if you feel, in my opinion, if you feel secure in the environment, you might still get angry and pissed off, which happens. कि मुझे नहीं खाना, मुझे नहीं करना. That is one. Second is that you are so fearful of the attachment style कि तुम बोल रहे हो कि मुझे नहीं खाना, नहीं करना, but तुम out of नखरे नहीं बोल रहे हो, तुम out of fear बोल रहे हो. The emotion is coming out, but वो out of fear है या out of secure sense of security है कि हाँ, my parents will understand is the
So I
situation.
think they will become aggressive, or they will refuse care from their parent altogether.
And become self-reliant.
Yeah, and this will, I mean, because they will become self-reliant, they will sort of be in their own world, right? So, which is why they will lack a stable approach towards not just parent relationships, I think romantic relationships and generally all relationships. Because एक side पे they would want love and they would want to give love, but then on the other hand, they will keep waiting for rejection or disappointment or hurt to come at any point. So they will want love, but they will expect disappointment at the same time. So I think they're not basically rejecting intimacy, they are refusing to accept it because they are afraid of it.
Or maybe because they think that their partner will not accept them as they are and they will not love them as they are. So they try to, protect themselves from being in that situation. Like that could be one of the cases.
Right. So, this
in a way, they're self-sabotaging their own relationship without realizing it.
I think yes. This is what the research also says. I was reading. So basically, I think they would want to induce. They would want to choose a partner that would induce fear at all times.
Like induce, like how? Okay, this I want to know.
Induce fear in the sense that they would. Any person who is stable would be new territory. Any person who does not give them the fear of being disappointed, the fear of being left out, the fear of not being there for them, the fear of not reciprocating their emotions, fear किसी भी angle,
मतलब any sort of fear जब वो आपको मिल रहा है, when you are getting okay, yeah, so जब any sort of fear as in कि the things that you're expecting and when you receive them you're not able to when you're on the taking end, अगर if you're
not able to receive
it
them, हाँ, so
out of fear,
हाँ, because मुझे ऐसा लगता है they will have this what do I call it, syndrome. You will keep feeling like as an imposter if you are getting everything good, तुमको ऐसा लगता रहेगा what did I do, or even if you or you can feel okay they're being nice to me. What will they expect? What are they hiding?
Because they have a negative worldview about themselves and others.
Yes, so even if you do something nice to them, they will look for something bad in the situation, in your action, or they will create a situation in their head कि पक्का कुछ है, दाल में कुछ तो काला है.
Yeah.
Right? Finally, coming to the fourth attachment style, which is अभी हमने डिस्कस नहीं किया हम कौन सा attachment style है.
We will discuss. I have anxiety discussing all of this because I have tried to not think, but yeah, because this is actually heavy on us. You were right.
As well. Yes.
I did not think it would be, but it's a bit. It is.
गिरेबान में झोंकना. It's our fears and our anxiety being reflected back as we do this. But yeah. Okay. Finally, the secure attachment style is what you're aiming for, which is also the fourth attachment style. It happens when parents or other caregivers are available, sensitive, responsive, and accepting. In relationships with secure attachment styles, parents let their children go out, but are there for them when they come back for security and comfort. They can express negative emotions. And in that situation, someone will help them. Children who develop secure attachment styles learn how to trust and have a healthy self-esteem. This sounds like a bliss, by the way. But anyways, as adults, these children are in touch with their feelings. They are competent and generally have successful relationships.
They're more aware, but we cannot say that they have like not a successful relationship because let's say, giving an example, let's say there's one person who has a secure attachment style. What if the partner or the person they're with does not have a secure attachment style and they end up with बाकी तीनों में से कोई insecure या कोई भी anxious,
you are saying that even if you are secure, it is not going to be easy for you.
Yeah, मतलब what if the other person is not secure? Like what if is the question.
So you then act as a rock or a mirror, I would say. So as I said that this is reflecting our own fears and our own anxiety as well. So when you're in a relationship, you can either reflect what your partner reflects, right? Or you can be your own rock, your own person, because you're secure, right? So you don't need
someone who brings center
to the relationship, right? Yeah. So you can be that north which gives the partner direction, and you can sort of
bring the calm to their chaos.
Probably more.
Because I think a secure person, like they said, is someone who's aware and acknowledging everything.
Say suppose somebody is anxious, you can not dismiss their anxiety. Firstly, you can say that okay, I think that you are feeling anxious, and I'm here. Whatever the cause of your anxiety is, if you talk it out to me, I'm here to deal with your anxiety.
Acknowledging and communicating the situation.
Yes. Say suppose somebody is, what is the other one?
Anxious, disorganized.
In the sense that say suppose somebody is avoidant or dismissive, right? You can call them out. If you're secure, you will call them out that look, you are not giving the relationship as much time as you should.
So basically you can get help or change your attachment style. Is that possible?
It should be, because nothing is set in stone. It should be. But I think the effort should come from the individual.
And I am done with my test results, and Yasha is also done with her result. And would you like to tell which?
Secure. I told you I was secure.
Okay.
People don't believe me when I say I'm secure.
And surprisingly, mine is a secure attachment style.
Yeah.
And I know acknowledge your emotions in a certain way, practically and emotionally. so that you're able to grow with time. This was my theory.
I think that takes a lot of scrutiny, one. Two, I think that takes a lot of self-analysis as well, like being very honest with yourself, because यही बोल पाना कि ये दिक्कत है और फिर उसके
सेल्फ रिलेशनशिप पे अगर टॉक्सिक हो तो you need help, as simple as that. So I try to maintain at least my good relationship with myself before I maintain a good relationship with anyone else.
Yes, I'm a very big advocate of that. But okay, so I think this is where we are. I think I'm feeling very heavy. I think Anmol is also feeling very heavy. But we will end up the episode here.
And we tried our best to do justice to this particular scenario, because one, it is a theory. Two, it is a bit heavy, touchy if you get to sit down and think about it, and if you get to talk about it.
And I'm saying again that like this is just a theory. Raise your kids the way you want them to, but just keep in mind that they need to be good individuals.
Like you need to be available. Don't be avoidant. Don't bleed in your past traumas into their traumas, and like be there, make them feel secure. And also, if you are an individual who's an adult now and you don't know what to do about it, like probably begin with accepting it, and then you'll figure out the way.
Yes.
And that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching and listening to us.
Write to us at countingthoughts@gmail.com and share your opinion about this episode or anything else too. We love it. Or you can follow and reach out to us on our socials.